Is Norwegian easy or hard to learn, particularly for native English speakers? I've wondered about this for so long, and I think I finally have the answer. I think I finally decided what the answer is. Because if you just Google it, you'll find that linguists agree Norwegian is hands down the easiest language for native English speakers to learn. What's interesting, by the way, is that's not actually the same as being the most closely related language. Now, they are related in many ways, but actually the closest linguistically related language to English is Dutch, but doesn't make it the easiest to learn. Compared to Swedish, Danish, Norwegian is considered the easiest to learn for English speakers. Yet I hear you guys on here saying all the time that my Norwegian is impressive for somebody who's never lived here. The most common thing I hear is that I speak like somebody who's been here 12, 13, 14 years, within that range. So many people will say, well, it's hard. It's really hard to learn. Then I've even been on podcasts where people have said people immigrating to Norway will do a program learning Norwegian before they get here, learn it pretty well, and then feel like it's useless. I've heard the same thing from my husband, that he knows the Duolingo, he could follow it in a little learning book, but it doesn't help him when he's around Norwegians. So here's what I think I finally uncovered as I've thought this through for a year now. Norwegian is easy to learn, but difficult to master. And the fascinating part of this is that I think the parts that make it easy to learn are actually the same things that make it difficult to master. So I used to think, for instance, that because Norwegian has fewer words than many other languages, that made it so easy. But actually, as somebody pointed out to me once, it doesn't necessarily, it makes it maybe harder, because then each word is used in multiple ways, but then there's a slight difference in the vowel. Norwegian is so sensitive to vowels, and that's what differentiates almost exactly identical words. And the tonems, the individual tones that are used in each word, can make it different. So actually, because the linguistic patterns or the individual words are so simple, they rely on these other factors, almost like Mandarin Chinese, to differentiate, and that is really, really hard to master. Not to mention, of course, the dialects, which make it even more difficult. But I think more than anything, it comes down to this sensitivity of the vowel shifts and the tones, which fluctuate and vary within a certain range. They might vary from dialect to dialect, but there's certain things you can't do. There's certain variances you can't place on it. So that's why I think Norwegian, easy to learn the basics, difficult to ever master enough that you sound native.